She came for a check, but the sterile tech CEO froze when he saw her daughter, his secret child. His eyes traveled up from the child to Veronica's face, recognition flickering like heat, lightning as memories of her curves pressed against hotel sheets flashed unbidden through his mind. Have you ever had a single moment turn your carefully constructed life upside down? Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. Warm welcome to the family. Enjoy the story. She had dodged him for 4 years across 2 states, built walls higher than a Seattle skyscraper, until the moment his storm gray eyes found their mirror image hiding behind her legs. Veronica Bennett gripped her daughter's small hand tighter as the elevator climbed to the 40th floor of Roth Technologies. The mirrored walls reflected her anxiety back at her from every angle. This was supposed to be quick. Drop off the paperwork for her friend Tanya's child support case and leave. No one important would see her, especially not him. "Mommy, are we almost there?" Mia whispered, peering up through her dark curls. "Almost, baby. Remember what I said? We go in, give the papers to the nice lady, and then ice cream." The doors slid open with a soft chime, revealing a reception area that gleamed with money and power. Glass, steel, and hushed efficiency. The receptionist looked up, perfect blonde bob swinging. "You must be Ms. Thompson," she said with practiced warmth. "Legal is expecting you." Veronica opened her mouth to correct the mistake, but the woman was already speaking into her headset, announcing their arrival. Before she could explain they had the wrong person, a side door opened, and there he was. Lucas Roth hadn't changed, still devastatingly handsome in that cold, unreachable way. Dark hair with precise silver at the temples, tall frame wrapped in a tailored charcoal suit that probably cost more than her rent. His face remained expressionless as he glanced at her, ready to dismiss whoever had interrupted his day. Then his gaze dropped to the child partially hidden behind her legs. The 40th floor conference room gleamed with cold precision, glass, chrome, and power, until a small sneaker peeked out from behind Veronica's pencil skirt, leaving a smudge on the pristine floor that drew his gaze like a beacon. Time stopped. His pupils dilated. The pen in his hand clattered to the floor, because staring back at him were his own eyes. The unusual storm gray that had graced generations of Roths, now blinking curiously from a tiny face that held hints of his jawline, his brow. Impossible. His eyes traveled up from the child to Veronica's face, recognition flickering like heat, lightning as memories of her curves pressed against hotel sheets flashed unbidden through his mind. "You're not Janet Thompson," he said, voice dangerously quiet. Veronica lifted her chin. "No, I'm just dropping off papers for her. We need to go." But Lucas was already moving toward them, magnetized by the child who now pressed fully behind Veronica's legs. "Who is this?" he asked, though his ashen face showed he already knew the answer. Veronica's heart hammered against her ribs. "My daughter." Lucas's voice dropped to a whisper that barely carried across the polished table. "That's impossible," he said, eyes never leaving the child. "I can't have children." The little girl looked up at him with identical gray eyes and said, "Mommy says that's what all daddies think." Have you ever had a single moment turn your carefully constructed life upside down? When one glance changed everything you thought you knew? Share your life-altering moment below. For a man who built a tech empire on facts and data, Lucas Roth was suddenly faced with the one equation he couldn't solve: how his supposedly sterile DNA was currently hiding behind her mother's legs, wearing mismatched socks. "My office." Now, his voice held no room for argument as he gestured to the glass-walled corner suite. To his assistant, "Cancel my next meeting and bring the child a juice box." Veronica crouched down to Mia's level. "Baby, can you sit with the nice lady for 5 minutes while Mommy talks to this man? Is he mad at us?" Mia whispered loudly. "No, es wetie. He's just surprised." That was putting it mildly. The receptionist's smile remained professional as she led Mia to a plush seating area with a tablet loaded with games. Once the child was settled, Veronica followed Lucas into his office, her legs wooden beneath her. His office overlooked the Seattle skyline, the Space Needle piercing through rain clouds. But the view paled compared to the storm brewing between them as Veronica stood her ground, chin raised, refusing to be intimidated by the man whose name hung on the building. The door clicked shut behind them with ominous finality. Explain. One word, loaded with fury and confusion. I think you could do the math, Lucas. She's 4. That's not possible. I was diagnosed. Well, your doctors were wrong. She kept her voice steady despite the hammering of her heart. She's yours. I haven't been with anyone else. He moved closer, close enough that the scent of him, sandalwood and something distinctly him, transported her back to tangled sheets and whispered confessions neither acknowledged in daylight. For years, he said, eyes flashing, you kept my child from me for 4 years. You made it very clear I meant nothing to you. Just some temp from Houston. Completely irrelevant. Those were your exact words, remember? He flinched. You heard that. Every word. And then I found out I was pregnant. What was I supposed to do? Call the man who couldn't even remember my name the morning after? You should have told me. Why? So you could accuse me of trying to trap you? You literally told me you couldn't father children. He raked a hand through his perfect hair, disheveling it for the first time. I want a DNA test. Fine. It'll just confirm what those gray eyes already told you. Lucas braced his hands on his desk, knuckles white. What's her name? Mia. Mia Bennett. Something flashed across his face. Pain, longing, she couldn't tell. I don't want your money, she said, voice steady despite her thundering heart. I never asked for anything. That's why I left. The DNA test is just a formality, he said, voice dangerously soft as he slid the paperwork across his desk. But if she's mine, and I think we both know she is, you've stolen 4 years I can never get back. And I don't forgive theft, Veronica. Not even from you. What would you do if someone kept your child's secret for years? Or if you discovered you had a child you never knew existed? The betrayal, the shock, the questions. Tell me your thoughts below. For years ago in Austin, she was nobody to him. Just another employee in a sea of faces. Until the night champagne and thunder trapped them together in the hotel bar, and she became the only woman who ever saw beneath his armor. The wait for the DNA test results stretched like a rubber band about to snap. 3 days of avoiding Lucas's calls, 3 nights of Mia asking questions about the man with eyes like hers. Memories of Austin haunted Veronica with each passing hour. For years earlier, the tech conference in Austin had drawn the industry's biggest names. Veronica, barely keeping her head above water financially, had volunteered to work the event, earning extra cash while learning from tech giants. She wore a rented dress and a borrowed smile, passing champagne to people who made her annual salary in a week. Then came the storm, biblical rain that flooded streets and stranded guests in the hotel. Lightning struck a transformer, plunging half the block into darkness except for emergency generators. The hotel bar gleamed with amber light and rain-streaked windows, the storm outside matching the intensity building between them as hours passed, ties loosened, and guards lowered with each glass of champagne. She hadn't recognized Lucas Roth at first, not without context. Just a handsome man in the corner, typing furiously on his laptop while everyone else networked. She brought him a drink he didn't order. You look like you need this more than anyone here, she'd said. He'd looked up, startled by her forwardness. Do I know you? No. I work for your Houston office. Administrative pool. She'd expected dismissal. Instead, he closed his laptop. Tell me something, Houston. Does everyone down there have opinions about what strangers need? Only the good ones, she'd shot back. That half smile, the first crack in his famous eyes, had changed everything. Hours disappeared. They talked about growing up in Texas, about his vision for technology, about her dreams of business school. The storm raged, the bar emptied, and somehow they ended up in his suite, the line between professional and personal blurring with each kiss. His hands, usually commanding boardrooms and billion-dollar deals, trembled slightly as they traced the curve of her waist. I never do this, he whispered against her neck, and somehow she knew it wasn't a line but a confession. She believed him. That's what made the morning after so brutal. The phone call had woken her. his voice drifting from the suite's living room as she stirred in rumpled sheets. Just some temp from Houston. Completely irrelevant. I'll be back in Seattle tonight. Her heart had shattered so quietly. She dressed and slipped out while he showered, dignity in tatters but pride intact. 2 weeks later, the pregnancy test changed everything. Present day, Veronica's phone vibrated with a text. Lucas again. The results are in. My office. 2 p.m. tomorrow. She stared at her daughter playing with blocks on their apartment floor. Mia, with his eyes and her smile. Their impossible miracle who shouldn't exist according to medical science. Tomorrow would change everything. Again, have you ever connected with someone who seemed completely wrong for you, only to discover an unexpected depth? Those rare moments when status and background fade away. Share your experience. The DNA test results lay unopened on his desk for 17 minutes. The longest Lucas Roth had ever hesitated on anything in his adult life. Veronica sat across from him, back straight, hands folded in her lap. The Seattle rain painted liquid patterns on the windows behind him. Mia was with a neighbor, spared from this moment of reckoning. Aren't you going to open it? She finally asked. Lucas's finger traced the sealed edge. It will confirm what I already know. His eyes met hers. She has my mother's chin, too, not just my eyes. With one decisive movement, he tore the envelope. Silence expanded as he read, his face giving nothing away. 99.9998% probability of paternity, he said finally. Veronica exhaled. Like I said, I've contacted my lawyers. We need to discuss custody arrangements. Custody? Lucas, you can't just. I've missed 4 years. I won't miss another day. She doesn't know you. You can't just walk into her life I'm her father. Biology isn't everything. Mia's small hand reached for the glass paperweight on his desk, leaving tiny fingerprints on the crystal. Physical evidence of her existence, now marking his pristine world. Wait, when had Mia entered the office? Veronica spun around to find her daughter standing in the doorway, teddy bear clutched in one arm. The nice lady brought me, Mia explained, pointing to the assistant who mouthed an apology from the doorway. Lucas froze, clearly unprepared for this direct confrontation with fatherhood. His expression softened as he knelt to Mia's level. Hello, Mia. She studied him with frank curiosity. You have eyes like mine. Yes. Ido. Mommy says that's because... Mia. Honey, Veronica interrupted, heart racing. This is Mr. Roth. He's an important businessman. Lucas looked up at Veronica, hurt flashing across his face. They both reached for Mia as she wobbled toward the edge of his desk, their hands brushing. Electric awareness sparked between them despite everything. You can't just walk in and claim her after 4 years, Veronica challenged once Mia was safely examining a snow globe from Lucas's shelf. Fatherhood isn't a corporate acquisition, Lucas. His jaw tightened. I have rights, and she has feelings. She has a life. You can't disrupt everything because a DNA test confirmed what you already knew. Lucas watched Mia with hunger in his eyes, the look of a man discovering treasure he never knew existed. I want to know her. I want to be her father. Not just financially. His lawyer placed custody papers on the table between them. I'm not asking for permission, Veronica, Lucas said, voice calm but eyes fierce. I'm giving you notice. I've lost 4 years with my daughter. I won't lose another day. What rights does a father have when he never knew his child existed? What obligations does a mother have to involve an absent father? The ethical questions here run deep. Share your perspective below. She expected threats, lawyers, and courtrooms, not the quiet proposal that came instead. Move into the east wing of my house. Give her daughter 2 parents under one roof. This doesn't have to be about us. Veronica stared at Lucas across the conference table, certain she'd misheard. They'd been locked in negotiations for hours, lawyers exchanging increasingly hostile proposals. You want us to live with you? Lucas dismissed both attorneys with a gesture. Once alone, his armor slipped just enough to reveal the man beneath the CEO. Fighting through courts will traumatize Mia and make us enemies. I have a 12,000 square foot house with separate wings. You'd have complete privacy, your own entrance. Mia would have stability and access to both parents, while you control everything. While we co-parent, he corrected. 3 months. Try it for 3 months. If it doesn't work, I'll buy you any house you want within 15 minutes of mine. Veronica's mind raced. The custody battle would drain her savings. Her tiny apartment was already too small for a growing child. But living under his roof, why? You could drag this out legally for years. Because I've missed 4 years of bedtime stories and first steps. I don't want to miss more fighting through lawyers. His honesty disarmed her. Separate wings? Completely separate. Think of it as co-living, not cohabitation. 1 week later, Veronica stood speechless as Lucas's driver turned through iron gates toward his lakeside mansion. His house was a modernist palace of glass and cedar perched on Lake Washington's edge. His lakeside mansion stretched like a modernist dream of glass and cedar. Rooms Mia could get lost in, gardens that seemed to float on water. Beautiful and cold, just like its owner. Mommy, it's a castle. Mia pressed her face against the car window. It felt like walking into the lion's den. The housekeeper, Mrs. Chun, showed them to the east wing, a space larger than their entire apartment building with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the water. Mr. Roth thought you might like to have dinner together tonight, Mrs. Chun mentioned, to help Mia adjust. That first dinner was excruciating. Lucas, clearly unpracticed with children, tried too hard. Mia, overwhelmed by change, spilled milk twice. Veronica felt like a tightrope walker without a net. Later that night, unable to sleep in the too-perfect guest room, Veronica wandered to the kitchen for water. Through glass walls, she spotted Lucas swimming aggressive laps in the indoor pool, his powerful body cutting through water with mechanical precision. She watched longer than she should have, remembering how those muscles had felt under her hands in Austin. He saw her, their eyes locked across the distance, water droplets clinging to his chest as he paused mid-lap. Neither acknowledged the other. That night, separated by walls and 4 years of silence, they both stared at the same ceiling, remembering the same storm-swept night in Austin. Neither slept, aware that the arrangement they'd agreed to had one fatal flaw. They were pretending the attraction between them had died when she'd walked away. It hadn't. Would you ever consider living with someone you had unresolved history with, just to give your child a complete family? The sacrifices we make for our children sometimes defy logic. Share your thoughts. By day, they navigated the minefield of co-parenting with cold precision. By night, the walls between their separate wings seemed to thin, memories seeping through like persistent ghosts. Daddy, look what I drawed. Mia held up a colorful scribble, the word daddy still new and experimental on her tongue. 2 weeks into their arrangement, and she'd adapted with the resilience only children possess. Lucas stared at the paper like she'd handed him gold. "It's beautiful," he said, voice rough with emotion he couldn't hide. "What is it?" "It's us, silly. That's you, that's Mommy, that's me, and that's our house." Veronica, chopping vegetables at the counter, nearly sliced her finger at the casual "our house." This temporary situation was becoming dangerously comfortable. The mansion's kitchen transformed under Mia's influence. Cheerful drawings magnetized to the stainless refrigerator, cereal boxes disrupting minimalist countertops, colorful plastic cups alongside crystal tumblers, chaos infiltrating order one primary color at a time. Lucas's staff moved around them with practiced discretion. His life adjusted to accommodate 7 a.m. cartoons and 8 p.m. bedtime stories. Veronica watched him learn to tie tiny shoelaces, his powerful hands gentle with practice. "You're good with her," she admitted one evening as they cleaned up after dinner. Something like pride flashed across his face. "I've been reading parenting books and watching videos." Of course, he approached fatherhood like a business challenge. Research, execution, improvement. But his dedication was undeniable. Mrs. Chun confided to Veronica, "I've never seen him leave the office before 6 until you arrived. Now he's home by 5 every day." The most dangerous moments came at night, when Mia was asleep. The vast house grew quiet. leaving them aware of each other's presence. Veronica would round a corner and find Lucas working at his laptop, jacket discarded, sleeves rolled up, forearms taut as he typed. He would glance up, their eyes would meet, and 4 years would compress into nothing. Their third Tuesday, Veronica padded to the kitchen at midnight, cotton sleeve shorts and tank top her only protection against the cool air. She reached for the refrigerator handle just as Lucas entered from the opposite door, wearing only low-hanging sweatpants. His chest, still muscled from daily swims, gleamed in the dim light. They both reached for the water pitcher at once. "Sorry," she murmured, hand brushing his. "Couldn't sleep?" he asked, voice deeper at this hour. "New place," she lied. They both knew she'd been there long enough to adjust. He caught her wrist as she turned to leave, his thumb brushing against her pulse. "We should talk about what happened in Austin," he said, voice low. "Not now," she whispered, pulling away even as her body betrayed her with goosebumps. "Maybe never." But the heat in his eyes told her this conversation was merely postponed, not avoided. They were playing house in public, strangers in private, and the contradiction grew more exhausting daily. The intimacy of raising a child together creates a bond unlike any other, even between people with complicated history. Have you experienced this strange closeness that comes from co-parenting? Share your journey below. She maintained perfect distance for 2 weeks, until the storm knocked out power, plunging the mansion into darkness, leaving only candlelight to maintain the boundaries between past and present. The Seattle storm hit with unexpected fury, wind howling off the lake, rain lashing against the endless glass walls. Mia had clung to Lucas during the first thunderclap, burying her face against his neck. "I'll protect you," he'd promised, looking at Veronica over their daughter's head with such raw emotion that she had to look away. When the lights failed, Mia was already asleep, exhausted from fear. Mrs. Chun had gone home hours earlier, leaving them truly alone in the vast darkness. Lucas appeared at her bedroom door with a flashlight and candles. "The generator only powers essential systems," he explained. "Heat, security. The great room, fireplace is on. It'll be warmer there. The great room, neutral territory." Veronica wrapped herself in a blanket and followed him down the hallway, flashlight beam bobbing ahead like a guide into unknown territory. Candlelight flickered across the great room, transforming cold modern architecture into something ancient and intimate. Shadows dancing across their faces, softening sharp edges, blurring the lines they'd carefully drawn. Lucas built up the fire, movements efficient from Boy Scout days he'd once mentioned in Austin. She sat on a massive sectional, blanket wrapped around her shoulders, watching his capable hands. "I check on Mia every night before I go to bed," he said suddenly, breaking the silence. "I just stand in the doorway and watch her breathe. Making up for lost time, I guess." The confession caught her off guard. "Lucas, I want to hate you for keeping her from me," he continued, still facing the fire. "But then I remember what you heard that morning. What I said." Rain pounded the windows like a million tiny fists demanding entry. "I looked for you," he admitted, turning to face her. For months, you disappeared completely. I changed my number, moved apartments. Because of what I said, because I was pregnant and terrified, because you'd made it clear I meant nothing, and I couldn't bear to see that confirmed when I told you about the baby." He moved to the couch, careful to leave space between them. "I said those things to my board chairman. He was pushing me about distractions, women, my focus. So you dismissed me. I was protecting my position, hiding that I'd actually..." He stopped, frustrated. "Actually what?" His fingers traced her cheek in the half-dark, each callus a reminder that beneath the tailored suits was a man who'd once built with his hands. "I looked for you," he confessed, his breath warm against her lips. "For months. You disappeared completely." The confession hung between them. His hand remained on her cheek, thumb tracing her lower lip. Lightning flashed, illuminating the naked emotion on his face. She leaned forward slightly, 4 years of denial crumbling. His lips brushed hers just as every light in the house blazed back to life. They jumped apart, moments shattered by fluorescent reality. As lights hummed back to life, reality intruded. She stepped back, but his expression had changed. The mask of indifferent CEO replaced by the look of a man who'd found something lost. "This arrangement was a mistake," he said quietly, "because I don't think I can live under the same roof with you and pretend I don't still want you." Those moments when the lights go out, when technology fails, often force the most honest conversations. What truth have you discovered in darkness that you couldn't face in light? Share your moment of clarity. The headline broke at 6 a.m. Tech billionaire's secret love child revealed. By noon, her phone had 27 missed calls, his company's stock had dropped 8 points, and the sanctuary they'd built for Mia was under siege. Veronica's phone buzzed with another notification as she closed the blinds against the lenses pointed at the house. Lucas's jaw tightened as he scanned the article on his tablet. "They have your employment records from Houston. Someone leaked our connection." His voice remained controlled, but his knuckles whitened around the device. "They're suggesting you hid Mia to extract a better settlement." Camera flashes pierced through estate trees like predatory eyes. News vans lined the private road, and inside, Mia clutched her stuffed rabbit, confused by why they couldn't go to the park. "Why are those people outside?" Mia asked, peering between curtains. Lucas knelt beside her. "They're just curious about us, but they'll go away soon." "Are they mad at us?" Veronica and Lucas exchanged glances over her head. "No, sweetheart," Veronica assured her. "They're just nosy." Lucas's phone rang constantly. Board members, PR team, shareholders. Each call drove his expression darker. During a brief respite, he joined Veronica in the kitchen. "My executive assistant received an offer for inside information about us. Whoever's driving this is willing to pay." "Could it be James?" she asked, mentioning his CFO who'd always watched her with cold eyes. "Possibly." The board's called an emergency meeting tomorrow. The garage doorbell rang. More reporters. Lucas slammed his hand against the counter. "I'll handle the press," he said. "You focus on Mia. This affects both of us." "I'm used to this." "You're not. Don't patronize me, Lucas. I'm not some fragile." The sound of breaking glass interrupted them. A photographer had climbed the garden wall for a better angle, knocking over a planter. Lucas's security team rushed outside as he pulled Veronica away from the window, his body shielding hers instinctively. For a moment, they stood pressed together, his heartbeat strong against her chest. "Let them say what they want about me," Lucas growled, "but they don't get to touch you or Mia, not even with words." His protective instinct stirred something she'd fought to ignore. When his security chief recommended they leave through the private boat docked to avoid photographers, Lucas kept his hand at the small of her back, guiding her toward the waiting car. A reporter lunged forward as they rushed Mia into the back seat, shouting questions. "Ms. Bennett, did you trap Lucas Roth? Was this a planned pregnancy?" Lucas stepped between them, blocking the camera with his hand. The flash caught his expression, not the cold CEO, but a furious father protecting his family. The board meeting was scheduled for 9 a.m., an emergency session to discuss the PR situation. What they didn't know was that Lucas had spent the night preparing documents of his own. "If they want to choose between me and my family," he told Veronica as dawn broke, "they should know what they're risking." In today's world, private moments become public property in an instant. How would you handle having your personal life splashed across headlines? Would you fight back or retreat? Tell me your strategy. The last person Veronica expected at their door was Elaine Roth, Lucas's Ice Queen mother who disowned him a decade ago. Yet there she stood in Chanel, offering not judgment, but unexpected alliance. "Mrs. Roth," Veronica stammered, blocking the doorway protectively. "Lucas isn't here." "I know. He's fighting for his company while you hide from cameras." The older woman's assessment was cool, but not unkind. "May I come in? We have matters to discuss." Elaine Roth moved through the mansion like visiting royalty, Louboutins clicking on marble, silver hair perfectly coiffed. The architect of Lucas's emotional walls now examining the life he'd built without her. "You have his eyes," she said when Mia peeked around the corner. "Both of you." Mia approached cautiously. "Are you my grandma?" Something flickered across the elegant woman's face. Pain, regret, hope, before her composed mask returned. Yes, though I'm very late to the role. Veronica prepared for criticism, for accusations of gold digging or worse. Instead, Elaine opened her designer bag and removed a thick file. My son believes he cannot father children. He was told this by Dr. Gregory Walsh when he was 28. I never questioned it until I saw the news. Veronica accepted the folder with trembling hands. Inside were medical records, bank statements, and private investigator reports. Dr. Walsh received a payment of $250,000 a day before Lucas's final appointment, Elaine explained. He falsified test results. Veronica's mind raced. But who would? James Harrington, Lucas's CFO and supposed best friend. But why? Control. Elaine's mouth tightened. A man who believes he can't have children makes different decisions. No dynasty building, no family legacy planning. All is focus on the company that James helps run. The revelation struck like physical pain. Lucas had lived for years believing a fundamental lie about himself, had made life-altering decisions based on that lie. Does Lucas know? Not yet. I've been tracking this for weeks. The photos leaked to the press forced my hand. Their conversation paused as Mia brought her new grandmother a crayon drawing. Elaine accepted it with surprising warmth, asking questions about the purple dog and orange sun with genuine interest. When Mia returned to her coloring, Elaine lowered her voice. Lucas and I haven't spoken in years. My fault entirely. I chose his father's business interests over my son's happiness repeatedly. The confession humanized the formidable woman. Why come forward now? Because I recognize the look in his eyes when he watches you on those grainy news photos. It's how his father once looked at me, before power and money corrupted us both. As afternoon faded to evening, Lucas returned from his board meeting, stopping short at the sight of his estranged mother sitting calmly in his living room. Mother, he said, voice carefully neutral. Lucas. She stood, straightening her immaculate suit. I've been getting acquainted with your family. The word family hung in the air between them. As his mother left, she pressed something into Veronica's hand, a vintage ring with a solitaire diamond. He won't ask, Elaine said quietly. He doesn't believe he deserves a real family. Prove him wrong. The weight of the ring felt impossible in Veronica's palm, heavier than the question it represented. Family secrets have power because they shape us even when we don't know they exist. Has a family revelation ever changed how you saw yourself or someone close to you? Share your experience with unexpected truth. Lucas hadn't touched her in 4 years, but when his oldest friend and CFO admitted to paying the doctor to lie about his sterility, it was Veronica's hand that stopped him from throwing away everything he'd built with one punch. You're lying, Lucas growled, medical records scattered across his desk. James Harrington, CFO and 20-year friend, stood opposite, collar loosened, face pale but defiant. Your mother's evidence is circumstantial, James countered. Old transactions without context. I called Walsh myself this morning. He confessed everything. Veronica watched from the corner, invited to this confrontation at Lucas's insistence. The boardroom fell silent as James confessed. Winter light harsh through floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the cold calculation behind friendly faces, the true cost of empire building reflected in polished mahogany. You were distracted, James finally admitted. Lauren had just left you. You were talking about stepping back, maybe starting a family with someone new. The company was at a critical juncture. So you convinced me I was sterile? Lucas's voice vibrated with fury. Made me believe I could never have children. It refocused you. Look what we've built since then. While I grieved a future I thought was impossible. James's expression hardened. It was necessary. You needed to choose family or legacy. I helped you make the right choice. Lucas lunged forward, fist raised. Veronica moved without thinking, grabbing his arm. He's not worth it, she whispered. For a moment, she thought he wouldn't listen. Then he exhaled, muscles relaxing under her touch. Get out, he told James. Security will escort you. The board votes on your removal tomorrow. Once alone, Lucas stood motionless, staring out at the Seattle skyline. His shoulders, always squared against the world, slumped slightly. "I restructured my entire life around that diagnosis," he said quietly. Ended relationships that were heading toward marriage. Worked 100-hour weeks because what else was there? Avoided getting close to anyone who wanted children. Veronica approached cautiously. "You couldn't have known. For years, Veronica. For years of Mia's life I missed because he made me believe." She touched his arm, offering comfort. He turned suddenly, pulling her against him, his control finally breaking. "I need this," he whispered, voice ragged. I need to hold someone who doesn't have an agenda." She meant to offer comfort, just comfort. But when he looked down at her, eyes swimming with rare vulnerability, the current between them surged beyond control. He pressed her against the closed door, months of restraint shattering. "I need to feel something real," he whispered against her throat. "Something true." Her body answered before words could form, arching into him as 4 years of denial combusted into flame. Their coming together was desperate, clothes half removed, his desk cleared with one sweep of his arm. Each touch exorcised ghosts of Austin, of missed years, of lies told and believed. His mouth on her skin felt like reclaiming something stolen from both of them. Afterward, breathing hard, bodies still intertwined, he whispered words against her skin he'd never said before. "Stay. Not for Mia. Not for appearances. For me." The vulnerability in his voice terrified her more than his power ever had. Because this time, walking away would break more than just her heart. Betrayal by those closest to us cuts deepest. Have you ever discovered someone you trusted completely was manipulating your life? How did you rebuild after that betrayal? Share your journey below. Their bodies remembered each other perfectly, but trust had a longer memory, and hers recalled exactly how it felt when he dismissed her as completely irrelevant the morning after she'd given him everything. A week after the boardroom encounter, they existed in limbo, physically reconnected but emotionally cautious. Lucas touched her now, casual brushes in the kitchen, a hand at her lower back when they walked, fingers lingering when passing Mia between them. Each contact sparked memories of his office desk, of barriers broken. Yet Veronica kept part of herself walled off. Experience had taught her that vulnerability with powerful men led to devastation. One Tuesday morning, Lucas entered the kitchen as she reviewed emails on her laptop. He set coffee beside her, prepared exactly as she liked it, and glanced at her screen. "Newmark Technologies?" he asked, voice carefully neutral. "They're our biggest competitor. They reached out about a marketing position," she admitted. "Senior level." Her resume sat between them on the kitchen island. Job offer from Lucas's competitor highlighted in yellow, promising the career advancement she'd put on hold when motherhood arrived unexpectedly. "You're considering working for Leonard Newmark?" The calm question couldn't hide his displeasure. "I had a career before Mia, before you reappeared. I could create a position at Roth." "I don't need you to give me a job," she said, voice steady despite his frown. "I need you to understand I have to build something that's mine. Something Mia can be proud of." His jaw tightened. "Newmark only wants you because of your connection to me." "Maybe initially," she conceded, "but my interview was based on my qualifications, not who I'm sleeping with." The phrase hung between them, reducing what had happened to something casual. Lucas flinched. "Is that what we're doing? Just sleeping together?" "I don't know what we're doing, Lucas." Her hands gripped her coffee mug. "Playing house for Mia? Scratching an itch from 4 years ago? You've never actually said what you want. I told you to stay. For how long? Under what terms? I can't build a life on vague invitations." Mia's footsteps pattered down the hallway, ending their conversation as she bounded in, demanding breakfast and attention. Lucas smoothed his expression, becoming the patient father their daughter adored. Later, as he prepared to leave for the office, he paused at the door. "Take the interview," he said finally. "You're right. You need your own path. Just be careful with Newmark. He doesn't fight fair." The concession surprised her. This wasn't the controlling CEO the business world feared, but a man learning to loosen his grip. He watched her walk away toward her wing of the house, the distance between them suddenly more than physical. The ring his mother had given him burned in his pocket, like a question he wasn't brave enough to ask. Because despite everything, he still wasn't sure she'd ever truly forgiven him for those careless words 4 years ago. The balancing act between parenthood, career, and relationship challenges even the strongest connections. How do you maintain your identity while building a life with someone else? Share your wisdom below. The charity gala demanded their first public appearance as a family. Crystal chandeliers, champagne flutes, and whispers behind manicured hands, all watching to see if the tech genius and the woman who'd brought him to his knees were performing or real. Are you sure about this? Veronica smoothed the midnight blue gown Lucas had sent home with his personal shopper. The price tag would have covered 2 months of her old rent. The press will be worse if we hide, he replied, adjusting his bow tie. Better to face them together on our terms. Mia twirled in her own party dress, supervised by Mrs. Chun, who would watch her while they attended the Children's Hospital fundraiser, ironically hosted by Roth Technologies. The ballroom sparkled with wealth and judgment in equal measure, diamonds catching light, camera flashes creating momentary stars, Seattle elite circling with practiced smiles hiding calculation. They entered together, his hand at the small of her back. Conversations paused. Heads turned. The great Lucas Roth with the woman from the tabloids and their secret child. Sharks smell blood. He murmured close to her ear. Keep smiling. The first hour passed in a blur of introductions. Lucas navigated social waters with practiced ease, keeping Veronica close, his body language clearly stating, she belongs here. So refreshing to meet Lucas's family, one board member's wife commented, voice dripping with implication. Such a surprise to us all. Life's best gifts often come as surprises, Veronica replied smoothly, feeling Lucas's approving squeeze on her waist. By the second hour, the initial frenzy calmed. During a rare moment alone at their table, Lucas's fingers entwined with hers. You're incredible, he said. Half my board is terrified of you now. Good. They should be. His laugh, genuine, unguarded, drew attention from nearby tables. Lucas Roth, actually laughing at a public event? Shocking. When the orchestra began playing, he led her to the dance floor. His hand rested possessively at her waist, bodies closer than strictly proper for a business function. Everyone's watching, she whispered. Let them. His eyes darkened as he pulled her fractionally closer. I'm tired of hiding how I feel about you. And how is that? Like I've been half alive for 4 years. His lips brushed her ear. Like I want to take you home and remind you how perfectly we fit together. Heat bloomed across her skin. This public claiming was intoxicating, until she excused herself to the ladies' room and took a wrong turn in the unfamiliar venue. The evening was perfect until she overheard him in the hallway. Yes, she's considering the position at Newmark Tech, Lucas said to someone out of sight. But don't worry, I'll make sure she doesn't take it. I have my ways. The champagne turned bitter in her mouth as she slipped away, wondering if anything had really changed in 4 years after all. We all wear masks in public. The face we show the world versus the truth we save for behind closed doors. How different is your public persona from your private reality? Share the contrast below. She packed her bags at midnight, déjà vu from 4 years ago. Except this time, her daughter slept peacefully down the hall, anchoring her to the man she was trying to leave. Veronica folded another blouse with mechanical precision. 4 years ago, she fled with only what fit in her carry-on. Tonight, she methodically packed everything they'd brought to Lucas's mansion. Tomorrow, she'd explain to Mia why they needed to leave. Again, running is becoming a pattern with us. She startled at Lucas's voice from the doorway. He leaned against the frame, tie loosened, eyes tired. I heard what you said at the gala, she countered, dropping a pair of jeans into the suitcase. About making sure I don't take the Newmark job. About having your ways. You didn't hear the full conversation. I heard enough. Rain lashed against bedroom windows, Seattle weeping outside while inside. Veronica folded clothes with mechanical precision. Each item a brick in the wall, she was rebuilding between them. Leonard Newmark approached me at the bar, Lucas explained, entering the room despite her glare. He mentioned hiring you specifically to get access to Roth Tech's marketing strategy. He wanted to rattle me. So you told him you'd stop me? Control me? I told him you make your own decisions, but that I was confident you'd recognize a manipulative offer. The ways I mentioned were showing you Newmark's history of hiring competitors' partners, pumping them for information, then firing them within a year. Her hand stilled on a half-folded shirt. That's not how it sounded, because you heard what you expected to hear. He stepped closer. You're ready to believe the worst of me because it's safer than trusting me. The accusation landed with uncomfortable accuracy. You didn't trust me enough to tell you about Mia, and I've paid for that assumption every day since. But at some point, we have to stop punishing each other for past mistakes. He sat heavily on the edge of the bed. Do you know why James's betrayal cut so deep? The subject change confused her. Because he was your friend? Because I believed I deserved it. That I wasn't meant for fatherhood or real connection. That business was all I had. His voice roughened. Then you and Mia crashed into my life. And suddenly, everything I built seems hollow compared to a 4-year-old's laugh. He looked up, vulnerability raw on his face. I'm trying, Veronica. Imperfectly, but I'm trying to be worthy of you both. She sank onto the bed beside him, anger deflating. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop. For you to become the man who dismissed me that morning. I'm not that man anymore. That man didn't know what he was losing. His hand found hers in the half-darkness. Outside, thunder rumbled, an echo of the Austin storm that had started everything. This time was different, slower, deeper, every touch an apology and promise combined. See me, he whispered against her lips. Not the CEO, not the headline, just me. And finally she did. Dawn found them tangled together, barriers finally broken, until his phone rang with news that shattered their fragile peace. James hadn't just lied about Lucas's medical condition. He'd been systematically sabotaging Lucas for years, and now he was coming for Veronica's new job offer, determined to separate them once more. Misunderstandings can destroy what took months to build in just seconds. Have you ever nearly lost someone important because you jumped to conclusions? How did you find your way back to trust? Share your reconciliation story. The takeover attempt came without warning. Lucas's company, legacy, and future under attack from the inside. But this time, he wasn't fighting alone. James transferred company secrets to Newmark for months. Lucas explained, pacing the kitchen as Veronica processed the news. The interview offer was bait. He wanted you inside as additional leverage. How did you find out? IT security flagged unusual server access from James's credentials after hours. We've been tracking him since his suspension. 3 days later, they sat side by side in Lucas's private conference room as lawyers and board members filed in. The emergency meeting had been called after James and Newmark announced their joint effort to convince shareholders that Roth Technologies needed new leadership. He's using our relationship against you, Veronica realized, watching financial projections flash across screens. Claiming you're distracted by family drama. Lucas's jaw tightened. Family isn't a distraction. It's my motivation. The emergency board meeting crackled with tension. Accusations flying, loyalties tested, years of manipulation exposed beneath fluorescent lights as Veronica laid out evidence she'd gathered through her industry connections. Veronica hadn't planned to speak. She'd come for moral support, to witness the battle. But when James entered with Newmark's legal team, smugly confident, something snapped inside her. Mr. Harrington's credibility deserves examination, she said, rising unexpectedly. He falsified medical records to manipulate Mr. Roth personally. Now we're trusting his assessment professionally. The room fell silent. Lucas watched her with surprise as she pulled out her laptop. I spent the last 72 hours analyzing Roth Technologies' marketing performance against industry standards. Graphs appeared on the main screen. Under Lucas Roth's leadership, even during our personal situation, company growth outpaced competitors by 23%. These aren't the numbers of a distracted CEO. James's face darkened. She's not a board member. She has no standing here. Actually, The board chair interrupted. Ms. Bennett's marketing analysis is quite relevant and compelling. For 2 hours, the future hung in balance. Veronica's marketing background proved unexpectedly valuable as she dismantled James's claims point by point. Lucas presented evidence of James's betrayal with calculated precision. By meeting's end, James stormed out, followed by Newmark's chastened lawyers. The takeover attempt had imploded. Lucas stood before his board, hand interlaced with Veronica's. 4 years ago, I would have handled this alone. I would have won, but at a cost. Today, we win together and keep what matters most. In his office afterward, adrenaline still coursing through them. Celebration turned physical. Her back pressed against his desk, the same desk where they'd reconnected days earlier, his mouth hot and demanding against hers. "We make a good team," she gasped between kisses. "The best," he agreed, lifting her onto the polished surface. With James removed and the company secured, they returned home victorious, only to find the vintage engagement ring sitting in the center of the kitchen island, no longer hidden in his pocket. The question neither had been brave enough to ask now lay exposed between them. They say you discover who truly stands with you when everything falls apart. Who has been your unexpected ally during your darkest moments? Share your story of surprising support below. For years ago in Austin, a storm trapped them together for one night. Today in Seattle, they chose to weather all seasons under the same roof, not as an arrangement, but as a promise. Veronica stared at the vintage diamond gleaming under kitchen lights. Lucas stood frozen beside her, clearly unprepared for this moment. "My mother must have put it there," he said finally. "It was my grandmother's. Were you planning to use it?" Her voice remained steady despite her racing heart. "Eventually, when I was sure you wouldn't say no." His honesty disarmed her. "I've never been good at vulnerability, Veronica. Power, strategy, business, those I understand. But this," he gestured between them, "this terrifies me." She lifted the ring, examining how light danced through the stone. 4 months ago, I walked into your office building expecting to drop off paperwork and disappear. Now we're discussing marriage. Is it too fast? For years too slow, maybe." She smiled softly. "We did everything backward." He took the ring, his expression solemn. "I'm not asking because of Mia or public perception or any practical reason. I'm asking because these months with you have shown me what I was missing, what I tried to fill with work and achievement." Instead of kneeling, he simply held the ring between them, an offer, not a demand. "I want to build something that matters. With you." "Yes," she whispered, "but I have conditions." His eyebrow raised. "Negotiations already. I take the marketing director position at Collins Group. Not Newmark, not Roth. Neutral territory. My career matters." "Agreed. Mia keeps my last name alongside yours. Bennett Roth." He nodded. "And us." "Us." She took the ring, sliding it onto her finger. "We build something new. Not your life with me added in. Not my life with your resources. Something that belongs to both of us." 3 months later, they stood beneath flowering cherry trees in the lakeside garden, Mia dancing between guests in her flower girl dress, as Seattle's elite mingled with Veronica's college friends and former co-workers. The lakeside garden bloomed with white flowers and golden lights, Mia dancing between guests in her flower girl dress, the Seattle skyline twinkling across the water. No longer cold glass towers, but constellations marking home. "For years ago, I thought power meant controlling everything," Lucas said during vows. "Today I know true strength is being vulnerable enough to let someone else hold your heart." Veronica's reply made even his mother dab at tears. "I once ran from you because I feared becoming irrelevant in your world. Today I choose to stay, knowing we've built a world that belongs to us both." That night, after guests departed and Mia slept surrounded by discarded flower petals and cake crumbs, they retreated to their redesigned master suite. Walls of glass overlooking the water, privacy screens that descended with a touch, symbolizing their balance of openness and boundaries. Their bodies knew each other now beyond mere passion. Each scar, each sensitive spot, each preference memorized and honored. "No more walls," he promised against her skin. "No more running," she answered, pulling him closer. 1 year later, Lucas rocked their newborn son, conceived naturally despite what doctors once claimed impossible, while Mia helped Veronica with her presentation for Colin's group's executive meeting. 2 children who shouldn't exist. A family built from mistakes and misunderstandings. A love that survived dismissal, distance, and doubt. Sometimes what appears to be the end of your story is actually just the beginning of a new chapter. They say love is about timing. Sometimes we meet the right person at the wrong time, and sometimes fate gives us a second chance. Have you experienced a relationship that needed time to find its moment? Share your journey to the right timing below. If this story of second chances and hidden truths touched your heart, hit that like button. Subscribe for more stories that remind us sometimes life's biggest obstacles lead to our greatest blessings. Tell me in the comments what surprised you most about Lucas and Veronica's journey. And remember, sometimes what appears to be the end of your story is actually just the beginning of a new chapter.